The Simko Shikak revolt refers to an armed Ottoman-backed tribal Kurdish uprising against the Qajar dynasty of Iran from 1918 to 1922, led by Kurdish chieftain Simko Shikak from the Shekak tribe. After Brigadier-General Reza Khan deposed the Qajars in a 1921 coup, he defeated Simko Shikak as well as several prominent rebel commanders such as Kuchik Khan and Colonel Pessian during the Iranian events of 1921. The Shikak rebellion resulted in some 5,000 killed, including many Assyrian civilians who were massacred by Simko's forces. History: early insurrection and the massacre of Assyrians. In March 1918, under the pretext of meeting for the purpose of cooperation, Simko arranged the assassination of the Assyrian Nestorian Patriarch, Shaman, ambushing him and his 150 guards as Shaman was entering his carriage. The patriarchal ring was stolen at this time and the body of the patriarch was only recovered hours later, according to the eyewitness account of Daniel D. Malik Ismail. After the murder of Shaman, the Yakri Christians took revenge on the Muslim population of Salmas and most of the villages of Salmas County, while Simko and his men massacred Assyrians in Khoi. Christian brigades terrorized Christians as well as Muslims. A missionary described this period as a reign of terror for Muslims hard to imagine. Simko also instigated the massacre of 1,000 Christians in Salmas. Revolt. By summer 1918, Simko had established his authority over the regions west of Lake Urmia. In 1919, Simko organized an army of 20,000 Kurds and managed to secure a self-governed area in northwestern Iran, centered in the city of Urmia. Simko's forces had been reinforced with several hundred soldiers and mercenaries from the Ottoman Empire, including Kurdish deserters and nationalists. After taking over Urmia, Simko appointed Taymur Aga Shekak as the governor of the city. Later, he organized his forces to fight the Iranian army in the region and managed to expand the area under his control to the nearby towns and cities, such as Mahabad, Khoi, Miandoab, Maku and Paranshah in a series of battles. In the Battle of Gulmakana, Kurdish forces under the command of Simko Shikak took control over Gulmakana and the Urmia-Tabriz road from Iranian forces. In the Battle of Shekak, the commander of the Iranian army, General Amir Urshid, was killed. In the Battle of Miandoab, Reza Shah dispatched Kalu Kurban to counter Kurdish expansion, but he was defeated and killed by Simko's forces in 1922. In the battle for the conquest of Mahabad, Simko himself commanded his forces with the help of Sayyid Taha Shamsini. After a tough battle in October 1921, Iranian forces were defeated and the commander Major Malikzada along with 600 Iranian gendarmeries was killed. Simko also conquered Maragha and encouraged the Lurs tribes of western Iran to revolt. At this time, the government in Tehran tried to reach an agreement with Simko on the basis of limited Kurdish autonomy. Simko had further organized a Kurdish army, which grew stronger and stronger. Since the central government could not control his activities, he continued to expand the areas of western Iran under his control. By 1922, the cities of Banna and Zardasht were under his administration. In the Battle of Saritaj in 1922, Simko's forces could not resist the Iranian army's onslaught in the region of Salmas and were finally defeated, and the castle of Chari, where Simko's forces were camping, was occupied. The strength of the Iranian army force dispatched against Simko was 10,000 soldiers. Simko and 1,000 of his mounted soldiers took refuge in what was now Turkey, where they were forced to lay down the weapons. Aftermath. By 1926, Simko had regained control of his tribe and begun another rebellion. When the army engaged him, half of his troops betrayed him to the tribe's previous leader and Simko fled to Iraq. In 1930, the commander of the Iranian army, General Hassan Muqaddam, sent a letter to Simko, who was residing in the village of Barzan, and invited him for a meeting in the town of Oshnavia. After consulting with his friends, Simko along with Khurshid Agahaki went to Oshnavia and were invited to the house of the local army commander, Colonel Narazi, and were told to wait for the Iranian general. Colonel Narazi convinced Simko to go to the outskirts of the town to welcome the general's arrival. However, this was a trap, and Simko was ambushed and killed on the evening of June 30, 1930. Foreign involvement. British. Tehran repeatedly accused Britain and Iraq of encouraging unrest, and deeply resented the asylum given by Iraq to Simko in 1922 and to Sadr Rashid in 1923. Ottoman Empire. According to the New York Times, July 10, 1922, it is said that Simko commanded 85,000 men and was assisted by Mustafa Kemal Pasha, former Turkish war minister, with the fighting lasting several days. Simko's forces joined with the Ottoman forces in reportedly killing many of the escaping Christians in West Azerbaijan. Legacy. Simko's revolts are seen by some as an attempt by a powerful tribal chief to establish his personal authority over the central government throughout the region. Although elements of Kurdish nationalism were present in this movement, historians agree these were hardly articulate enough to justify claim that recognition of Kurdish identity was a major issue in Simko's movement. It lacked any kind of administrative organization, and Simko was primarily interested in plunder. Government forces and non-Kurds were not the only ones to suffer in the attacks. The Kurdish population was also robbed and assaulted. Simko's men do not appear to have felt any sense of unity or solidarity with fellow Kurds. On the other hand, Reza Shah's military victory over Simko and Turkish tribal leaders initiated a repressive era toward non-Iranian minorities. In a nationalistic perspective, Simko's revolt is described as an attempt to build a Kurdish tribal alliance in support of independence.